Hi, my name is Carlo Van De Watering, and together with my mate Chris Ridyard, we are the presenters of the Red Report, the longest running Barnsley FC podcast. You can find us on Twitter by searching @RedReport_. Under Gerhard Struber, Barnsley pulled off another great escape with some really fine performances against some top teams, and that means we play another season in the Championship. We've kept the squad together, and with some additions, it looks like Barnsley should be able to compete rather than just survive in this division. So we are aiming for a mid-table finish. Not going to be easy. Teams like Brentford, Bournemouth, Forest, Norwich, Stoke, Watford, I think those teams will probably fight it out at the top of the table, with our favourites Watford, Stoke and Brentford making their way to the Premier League at the end of the 2021 season. At the other side of the table, normally that's where you'll find fans from other teams looking for Barnsley. I don't think that will happen this season. I think the three teams most likely to go down are Luton, Rotherham, our South Yorkshire neighbours, and Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday starting on -12, and I think that could actually be one of the biggest handicaps for them this season. So two South Yorkshire teams with Luton tipped for us to go down, but look out for Barnsley. We play some fantastic pressing, high attacking, high intensity football under Gerhard Struber, and I've got us down for a mid-table finish.
Hi guys, so my name is James and I am from Birmingham Fan TV. We also host the BFTV podcast every week. So if any of you do find yourselves wanting to watch something to do with Birmingham City for some reason, then hop over and we can supply with that. In terms of Birmingham City this season, though, it's going to be one of stability and maybe trying to rebuild and lay the foundations for the next couple of seasons. I think everybody knows that the club's been really turbulent and traumatic over the last couple of years, finishing above the drop. And that was no different last season. But optimism is renewed. A change of manager with Aitor Frank, someone who knows the league and has promotion experience. And a couple of really good signings as of today. We've signed Neil Etheridge, a couple of experienced pros in Clayton and George Friend, and some really exciting players in Jonathan Lecco, Ivan Sanchez, John Terrell coming back. So we've got a lot to look forward to. Hopefully it can all gel in the coming season and maybe finish around about 14th, 13th. I'd be dead happy with that. In terms of a top six, I'm probably going to go with Norwich, Watford, Cardiff, Swansea, Brentford, and I'm going to throw a curveball in there and say Preston. They've been knocking on the door for a while. I'd expect them to break in this season. In terms of the three that go up, I'm going to go with Watford, Norwich, and probably Brentford. I'm going to play it safe on this one. And the three to go down, I don't think you can look any further than maybe Wycombe, Rotherham and Sheffield Wednesday. I think they seem to be the three nailed on to go down. But thank you so much for having me on, guys. Good luck for the season.
Hi there, it's Ryan Hildred from the Rovers Chat website. In terms of my hopes for Blackburn Rovers this season, I'm just hoping it's another season of consolidation, a season where we're not looking over our shoulder, potentially, in a relegation battle or anything. I think with all the uncertainties over budgets and what's going on with COVID-19, I'm hoping there's nothing too extravagant in terms of outlay or transfer expenditure, just to ensure that the club sees it through, goes through this period. Our attendances are quite low, so we've got to make sure that our budgets are maintained. So, for that reason, I think Rovers may flirt with the playoffs, in a wide open division. Hopefully we can take advantage of that a little bit, but I think ultimately we'll probably come up a little bit short. So I predicted 9th for Rovers this season. In terms of the teams to go up, I think Norwich and Brentford will be the top two. I think Norwich have come down in a very strong fashion, possibly planned for getting promoted back again after not, spending too much when they were in the Premier League. So I think they look strong. And I think Brentford are going to use last season's disappointment. Even though they've lost Ollie Watkins, I think they'll use last season's disappointment as some real motivation to finally get over the line. So Norwich and Brentford, my top two. And then to join them, Watford through the playoffs. I think Watford, again, come down in pretty good shape. Got lots of players who, just got a bit of trickery, maybe something different for the Championship, which I think will be some quality that ultimately sees them over the line. And then joining them in the top six, I think Nottingham Forest will put last season's, heartache on the final day behind them and make it this time. I think Stoke City will have a much more improved season this time round with Michael O'Neill. He's really got them playing. And then my surprise package, I think Birmingham City will make the top six, making some really smart signings, and Karanka's a good manager. In terms of relegation, Sheffield Wednesday, a -12 deduction. Horrible to see. It's hard to see them make that back up. So sadly, I think they will go down, and that's not nice to see. Wycombe Wanderers, brilliant that they're in the Championship. They're here for a ride, but ultimately, I think it's going to be one step too far for them. And then the third team, Rotherham, I think will slip down again. Bit of a yo-yo club in this division, but it'll be close between Rotherham and probably quite a few clubs. But I think Rotherham will be the ones that don't make it. Thanks, Hugh.
Hi, my name's Sam Davis and I present an AFC Bournemouth podcast and YouTube channel. And as a loyal cherry myself, I'm really excited to see how this season's going to go. Jason Tindall, of course, has stepped up to become the manager after Eddie Howe's departure. He's playing a new formation and we've managed to retain a number of players that I thought might leave, including David Brooks, Jefferson Lerma, Lloyd Kelly, Adam Smith, Arnaud Danjuma, who were key players in the Premier League for us. Of course, players like Callum Wilson, Nathan Ake, Aaron Ramsdale went, but we got a lot of money for them. Now, that money's probably not going to be reinvested on the playing side. We've got a training ground facility to be built, and also there's a bit of debt to repay the owner as well. But hopefully we can make some shrewd signings, so we've got a bit of squad depth. Hopefully, we're going to be one of the three teams that's going to be up there at the end of the season. I think I can't look past those that have been relegated. Norwich, their squad looks strong, good signings. Watford, I looked at their team sheet and it's phenomenal. Sarr, how have they kept him? And Bournemouth, I think, will be up there too. Other three sides that could challenge, I think Brentford got a lot of money after that Ollie Watkins signing, and they've got a good model there, and I'm sure they'll reinvest it wisely in terms of their personnel. Also, one of the Welsh clubs as well, probably Swansea and Forest too. For relegation, I'm going to go for Luton Town, Wycombe Wanderers. It's going to be a tough ask for them, but also Sheffield Wednesday too. That points deduction could cost them dear.
Just wait for that helicopter to go. Hi Huddersfield fans, this is Billy from Besotted Podcast here, Pride of West London. I've been asked to give my top 6 predictions, my bottom 3 predictions of where Brentford are going to come. And this is quite tough actually, because obviously we were close but no cigar in the playoffs last season, so as they say, we go again. But I'm going to try and give my top 6 predictions. I think first place is going to go to Watford. I don't think they should have gone down last season. I thought that they're actually playing better football than their results. So depends on how they actually start off their season. So I've got the number 1 going to be Watford. Number 2, I've got to go for Brentford, just because last season, close but no cigar, we were very close, and I've got to presume that we start where we left off. Ivan Toney is going to come in as Ollie Watkins gone off. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed we come second. Third place, I'm going to go to Norwich. Norwich as well, I think they're a decent side. They had a terrible season last season, but they just banked the money, and I think they'll be strong enough to actually compete in this division. Fourth place, Swansea. I actually thought Swansea quite good, other than the little bit of dirty shithousing that they did in their football. But other than that, decent team. So I think Swansea fourth. I think fifth place actually is going to be a bit of a surprise here. I think Stoke City. They not a great position last season, but they're actually playing some decent football, and I think they may turn it around this season. So fifth City, and they've also got a shed load of money. So that's fifth place for Stoke City. In sixth place, I'm going to go for P&E again. They keep on causing surprises, they keep dipping away, but I think this season they may actually do it and get into the playoff places. As for the bottom 3, I think bottom place Wycombe Wanderers, just because, you listen, they've done brilliant to do there, but I just think they're not going to quite have enough up front to score the goals. Second bottom place, I think actually Sheffield Wednesday, and this is a bit of a surprise, but they've got that 12-point deduction. So will that be, enough? It's a big deduction for them. So I think, Sheffield Wednesday, second bottom place. Look at Wigan, they did wicked last season, but they still got relegated because of the deduction. And then third bottom place, I know you're not going to like this, but I think that, listen, if you sell Colin Grant, that's a bad move for you, because he's a wicked striker. If he goes, I don't know what else you've got up front. Plus also, you've got rid of your managers, so you've got a new manager. There's a lot of change at Huddersfield, so I think that you might be vying for the bottom third place. I hope it's not, but listen, you've asked me for the predictions. But listen, other than that, good luck for the season. I hope my predictions are actually wrong at the bottom end and they're right at the top end, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully we'll be in the stadium soon as well. Cheers.
Hello everyone at the Annie Takes That Chance podcast. I'm James Cox and I'm from BS3 Talk, which is a Bristol City podcast. I'm here to predict the Championship season as possible as that is. As for Bristol City, we've made some good signings so far this window, but we have appointed Lee Johnson's assistant as head coach, which raised a few eyebrows, it must be said. Dean Holden has talked the talk, and I guess it's now time to see if he can walk the walk in the Championship anyway. Come to the promotion sides, and for me there's only one team that is a cut above from everyone else. That is Norwich City. I think their squad depth and their quality, especially for the Championship, is insane. Watford, always uncertain, aren't they? Squad-wise, man for man, they will be up there. Brentford, I think they replaced Ollie Watkins really well with Ivan Toney. Now it's time to see if they can most likely replace Saeed Benrahma. Outside chance for promotion, Millwall, I think they've got a real good thing going on at the Den. And then the final three relegation spots, I think Rotherham and Wycombe will struggle this season. It's a shame. They've come up, they did really well in League One, especially Wycombe, to even get out from that league, but I do think they will struggle. Wouldn't mind if they stayed up though. And then it's a fight between some of the other Championship sides that are struggling, your Lutons, maybe even your Huddersfields, hopefully not, but I will tip Birmingham to go down unless Karanka can work miracles.
Hi, this is Cardiff City fan Tom Taylor from the Sport Addict Corner with my preview for the 2020-21 Championship season. There's a real good feel around Cardiff at the moment with the supporters. Harris has started to implement his style of play that he's wanted to from the start, and we saw it after the break following the lockdown. And I think a full season of it means we could be in for a good year. There's talk of possibly a playoff place finish, which I think we'll get, and ideal world would end up being promoted. Talking of promotion, I do think we'll go up alongside Watford and Nottingham Forest, with probably Brentford, Bournemouth and Preston North End making up the rest of the playoffs. Down the other end of the table, I think Sheffield Wednesday, Wycombe Wanderers and Rotherham will go down. It'll be a shame to see Sheffield Wednesday go because they are a great team, but 12-point deductions are notoriously difficult to overturn, and I really can't see them doing it. I don't think they have the quality. And in terms of Wycombe Wanderers and Rotherham, Wycombe is a really nice feel-good story, but I don't think they have the quality of players to stay up in the Championship. And Rotherham are a little bit of a yo-yo team between the Championship and League One. So that's my thoughts ahead of the upcoming season.
Hi everyone, my name's Tom Ward. I'm a Coventry fan and I help to run Sky Blues Extra, which is the biggest Coventry fan page and podcast. I think returning to the Championship after 8 years is going to be quite tough for Coventry. Obviously the landscape's changed quite a lot. There's a lot of money in that league now compared to when we were last there. However, we have made 9 summer signings, so there's a lot of positivity around. A few pundits have said we might be the surprise package, potentially a mid-table or even higher finish. I personally would be happy with bottom half and safe. Something like 17th, 18th would be great. What you can expect from us is really good football. We like to play out from the back. We play 3 at the back with wing backs, and we played some of the best football in League One last season. So very nice on the eye. In terms of the Championship, I think the top 6 is going to be Norwich, Watford, Brentford, Bristol City, Derby and Cardiff. That'll make up the top 6. I think in terms of the promotion, I think Norwich and Brentford will be the top 2, and I think Bristol City will win the playoffs. They've made some really good signings there. I think in terms of relegation, there's a few teams that could be in and around there, including ourselves, but I think we'll be okay. I think Luton, Sheffield Wednesday and Wycombe will be the teams that will go down from the Championship this season. Be sure to check out Sky Blues Extra. Feel free to listen to our podcast. We'd love to hear from you, and good luck for the season.
My hopes for Derby this season are very much a mid-table finish. I think it's going to be a season of transition again for the Rams. Obviously, a lot of young players coming through, not scoring many goals. I think 2 in pre-season against lower league opposition mostly, and obviously against Sheffield United as well. So not ideal, but we trust Koku. And as I say, I think a mid-table finish would be, a good finish, I think. Going on to top 6, I think Norwich City, Brentford, Forest, Millwall, Cardiff and Swansea would make my top 6. Competitive division this season, but those I think are the teams sticking out for me. And obviously top 3, I reckon Norwich City, Forest and Brentford. I think those three teams, have got to do it this season. And Brentford obviously finally. Going on to my bottom three, I think Wycombe, Rotherham and Sheffield Wednesday. There's a real disparity in quality with those teams. Obviously Sheffield Wednesday have the points deduction, which will ultimately I think we'll see them go down.
Hi everyone, my name's Jodie and my predictions for this season, if ever there was a season you don't want to predict, it's probably this one, so thanks for the challenge. I'm going to go for Brentford and Norwich to go up automatically, and then I'm going to go with Preston, Bournemouth, Forest and Watford for the playoffs, with Bournemouth winning the playoffs, and Wednesday, Rotherham and Wycombe to go down. I think the points deduction will be too much for Wednesday to bounce back from. In terms of Town, really difficult to be positive at the moment, but I am going to continue trying to be positive. I do think there'll be a few more twists and turns and we'll make some good signings over the coming weeks, so things might look bleak at the moment, but I'm going to go for a very optimistic 9. Let's see. Interesting season to come. Cheers.
My preview and prediction for the Championship 2021 season, starting with our beloved Huddersfield Town. Right, are we out of free fall and have the floodgates been closed? Personally, I believe so. I'm incredibly excited by the plethora of youth players coming through. I think we have to take that as a positive. I don't think we need to spend silly money. But I say that, I think a few more signings would be great. I do believe they'll come. I just think we need some patience. So with that, I'm sensing a safe mid-table finish in a season where I think finding our identity is just as important as how high up we are in this table. So 13th, I've got Huddersfield this year. Before we push on, I feel the season after. Relegation-wise, last place, Wycombe. It is quite easy and safe to put Wycombe bottom of the table, but with such an inexperienced squad and not enough quality signings, I do think they will suffer majorly. Then I've got Luton Town, similar to us in that second season of the Premier League. I think they will not have enough. I think they'll be found out. They played some decent football at the end of last year, but not this season for Luton Town. It's just my opinion. Moving on to Rotherham, it's a massive step up from League One. I believe they won't be the worst side in this division. I think they played some great football last season, but from what I've seen from the recruitment side, haven't done enough for me. Moving on to the top 6, I have got Swansea in 6th. Bournemouth in 5th. I think that's quite high risk from me. Usually one side flops coming down from the Premier League and it could be Bournemouth, but that's what I'm going for. Cardiff City in 4th, and then Norwich City in 3rd, just missing out on the automatics. I think they will be the winners of the playoffs this season. Made some great signings, but let's hope they have a shocking start to the season. And then finally, in automatics, I've got Brentford. I think they played some quality football last season. Thought it was incredibly unfortunate for them to miss out on promotion. They've somehow kept hold of Ben Rama at time of recording. Brought in Ivan Toney. I think it was a great signing. And now with the sale of Watkins, whilst that's unfortunate, they've got a great budget to use before the end of the transfer window. And finally, my championship champions will be Watford. Easily the best squad in this division. I know a lot of their players are injured currently, but when the likes of Deeney, De La Feu, Welbeck, Sarr are back, I think they could walk this league. And they set the tone last night against Middlesbrough. So, those are my Championship 2021 predictions.
Happy new season to all that takes that chance, lads. Really difficult to predict the upcoming Championship season for all the various circumstances that are going on within football at the moment, but I'm giving it my best shot. I'll probably get none of these right, but you know. But in first, I've got Norwich. I think when you look at their squad on paper, it's just streets ahead of any other team in the division. Even if they lose a couple of players between now and the end of the transfer window, they've got a couple in every position, and I think they'll turn around the form towards the end of the time in the Premier League. Second and third, it was a bit of a toss-up between Bournemouth and Watford, but again, I think on paper, their squads look good. There's some continuity there about both teams, and I think they'll both score a lot of goals this season as well, which should stand them in good stead. Rest of the playoffs, I've got Cardiff, Swansea and Stoke. Stoke are in there as a bit of a wild card, to be honest, but I quite like the way that they're building, and I think there might be a shock team that gets into the top 6 this year, purely based on the fact that there seems to be a lot more parity because of, as I say, everything that's going on in the world of football to do with economics, etc. And who knows, they might surprise a few this year. Bottom 3, I've gone Coventry, Wycombe and Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday, it's the points deduction that's going to kill them, I think. I can't see them finishing with 12 more points than third bottom. So I've got them to go down. Coventry purely on if Town stay up, Coventry have to go down because we haven't played Coventry in Coventry for God knows how long, about 50 years. So that's just a statistical quirk. And I've also gone Wycombe. We're recording this after the first round of games. They lost at home to Rotherham first game of the season and failed to score. So I think it's going to be a long season for them, but fair play to Ainsworth still for the job that he's done. Town, anywhere between 17th and 20th as things stand. If we strengthen, get a couple more bodies in, then could be looking more optimistic towards mid-table, lower mid-table. But as things stand, I think it's going to be a fight to stay above the dotted line again because the squad's very threadbare. I hope to be wrong. I think we'll see progress on the pitch in terms of our style of play. But he's going to need patience and backing as Carlos. And as fans, we do need to get behind him as much as possible. But yeah, here's to a new season.
Hello everyone, my name is Ivan from Malaysia and this is my championship prediction. I believe that Brentford will finish on top, followed by Derby and Norwich. And I believe the other 3 teams that will fill in the top 6 position will be Cardiff City and followed by Watford and Nottingham Forest. So that's pretty much my top 6. As for the 3 teams that I believe that will go down, I think it's going to be between Wycombe Wanderers, Coventry City and Sheffield Wednesday. As for Huddersfield Town this season, I just hope that we can play a brand of football that we can be proud of. I want to see the team try. I want to see the team make some effort for a victory. So let's hope the Spanish Revolution will bring some fresh ideas to the table. But, as much as I'm hoping for a top 15 finish, I think, judging by the circumstances we are at the moment, a 19th place will be a reasonable position to finish off at the end of the season. Thank you.
Hi guys, it's Kevin Harper from the Luton Town Supporters Trust. So obviously I'm a Luton Town fan. What does the season hold for us? Well, hopefully a lot less nerve-shredding. We obviously stayed up on the last day of last season in that crazy final day of the Championship. So if we can stay up a little easier than that, that will certainly be the first sort of box to tick. Beyond that, if we could just improve on our league position, we finished 19th last year. So if we can bump that up to sort of 15th, 16th and have a comfortable season, then I think every Luton fan will take that really. That's certainly where we should be aiming for, I think. As for the top end of the table, my top 6 would be Norwich City, Brentford, Bournemouth, Cardiff City, Stoke City, Blackburn Rovers. And of those 3, I think Norwich City, Brentford and Blackburn will be the 3 to go up to the Premier League. At the other end of the table, hopefully Luton aren't involved in this whatsoever, so I'll just keep a keen interest from afar. I think Sheffield Wednesday's 12-point deduction will see them relegated. Wycombe Wanderers and Rotherham look like the 2 weakest sides that came up of the 3, and I think they can be the 2 that join them. Have a good season, folks.
So I'm Simeon Jackson, the 12-man podcast, Spotting Football Club. We actually spoke about this on our podcast on Tuesday, what we expect for the season. A better one than last season would be probably a better way to describe it. We had a horrible season last year. Hopefully a couple more signings coming in. We've got obviously a couple of players coming in. Sam Morsy's got his medical coming up. Marcus Bettinelli's in. So yeah, hopefully a couple more signings and we'll certainly try and get towards mid-table. I think we all agreed on, which is a considerable improvement on last year. Top 6, you've got Norwich and Watford. They'll be the top 2 for me. They look very strong. especially Norwich. Norwich look really good this year. Playoffs will be a bit more tricky to predict, to be honest. Brentford will be in there. I'd probably say if Nottingham Forest won't be far off. They've done a good bit of business this year. Bristol City and Swansea will be my 4, and I think Brentford will probably go up this year. I think this will be their time to do it. And the 3 to go down, Wycombe, I don't see them as a championship team, unfortunately. Rotherham, and it's either Luton or Sheffield Wednesday. I'll say Sheffield Wednesday for a bit of controversy. They don't like us, so yeah. Subscribe to our podcast. See you later.
Hello, Millwall Fan TV. On Millwall's expectations this year, obviously we just missed out on the playoffs last year, so it would be reasonable to think that maybe we could just sneak in them this year. Obviously we've brought in Troy Parrott and Scott Malone, and then also, bringing back Mason Bennett and Ryan Woods seems pretty good business from us this year. I do think we're probably just maybe 1 or 2 short. Maybe just one more midfielder will be really, really nice, and another striker will be brilliant. On the subject of a midfielder, we're missing Jason Malumbi. He's gone back to Brighton, and I really do hope we can get him back on loan, but not sure about that one just yet. For the expectations this year, obviously I have to go with the top 6. That's just, as a Millwall fan, and how well we did last year, it all feels really, really good. With Gary out in charge, and fingers crossed we can get the playoffs this year. On to top 6. I'm going to go with Norwich and Watford to both go up automatically. They both look too strong for this league, and that's why I'm going to go with them. Then I'm going to go with Brentford, Cardiff, Millwall, and I'm going to go... It's a tough one, the last playoff spot, but I'm going to go with Bournemouth. I think they'll be just slightly too strong as well. And then for the 3 relegated sides, I think Wycombe and Rotherham won't have enough. So I think they'll go down, and I think Coventry will be fine. They look actually alright. They look quite good. And the last relegated side, I'm going to go for Barnsley. I just don't think they'll have enough this year, unfortunately. But thanks for having me.
What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dore with Dore on Tour, and I'm talking about Nottingham Forest season, what's been happening, and what we're looking forward to this season. So after last season, Forest bottled it in the playoffs. We were shocking the last game of the season against Stoke City. Lamucci was under threat. People thought that he was going to get sacked. But again, he's had a little good chat with the Forest owner Makarakis, and he had a really positive talks with him. He has brought in positive signings like Jack Colback, Luke Freeman from Sheffield United on loan, and even striker Carlo Taylor. My bottom 3 is going to be Barnsley, Wycombe and Rotherham. I don't think they've got a big squad to stay up this. So the top 6 in no order, I definitely think Forest will definitely get there. Teams like Watford, Norwich, Bournemouth as well. I think Swansea might get there, and last but not least, I think Middlesbrough will get there as well with Neil Warnock in charge. It'll be a surprise, but yes, that's definitely going to be my top 6. And thank you for having me on. Make sure you subscribe to Dore on Tour. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Joe Hinchcliffe here from Canary Cast, the Norwich City fan channel. Matt's asked me to put together a little predictions bit for this season, so here it goes. In terms of Norwich, expectations are high. We've been here before, won the Championship the 18-19 season, same manager, same squad, fair few new additions really, so it's hard to see how our goals should be anything different other than a promotion. Hopefully top 2. I know Norwich City as a club, having spoken to a few of the club officials, see themselves as a top 26 club. So anything less than playoffs will be deemed a failure. But really, we should be looking for the automatics. Whether it's first or second doesn't really bother me. But yeah, that's what we're looking for this season. In terms of predictions, top 2, obviously Norwich are one of them. The other one, I quite fancy Watford. I think they've retained a large amount of their squad. Yes, they've got a new manager, which I suppose makes us being Norwich slightly more favourites for the top spot, but I do fancy Norwich and Watford for the top 2. Elsewhere, the playoffs, I think Brentford are really strong. I think they're probably the only other team that could really threaten the top 2, but I expect them to be in the playoffs along with Swansea, Millwall and Forest. I think Forest, hopefully Lamucci can get them over the line this year. In terms of relegation, I can't see past Sheffield Wednesday for the bottom spot with those minus 12 points. Wycombe Wanderers is going to be difficult for them. Big step up, and I fancy them for the drop if I'm honest. And then the other one, Huddersfield. I think they're trying to offload Carl Grant, etc. at the moment, possibly Steve Mounier as well. So they're not going to have an awful lot left. I know they've got O'Brien and a few little players like that are decent, but I'm picking them for the drop basically. But yeah, that's it.
Hi guys, Jimmy from the Finney podcast here, a podcast all about Preston North End. Hope you guys are all well over the Pennines. A bit of a prediction for Annie Takes That Chance podcast. In terms of Preston this season, a bit of a funny one for us really. We're reliant on keeping hold of what we're classing as the big four, which is Ben Pearson, Ben Davis, Alan Brown and Daniel Johnson. 4 players who are massively key to our aspirations this season, but they're all out of contract next summer. So if we can tie them down and keep hold of them, then we've got every chance of being in the top 6. That's if we sign a striker. We're lacking in numbers up front, so that's really key that we keep hold of what we've got and also add to the numbers up front as well. In terms of the top 6, Norwich will be no surprise to everyone, I'm guessing, but I'm putting Bournemouth into second place, which aren't really fancied at this moment in time. Just think they'll continue what Eddie Howe's built over the past 5 or 6 years and really build on it in the Championship and go back up at the first attempt. In the playoffs, can see Brentford being up there again alongside Watford, Nottingham Forest getting over their capitulation on the last day of the season, and my surprise tip for this season, which is Stoke. I think Michael O'Neill has done a really good job there, but I can see Watford winning the playoffs with their experience, and their squad lineup is quite frightening for this league. Relegation-wise, Sheffield Wednesday are going to find it really tough to get over that minus 12 points deduction. Wycombe have just not got the strength in depth, and Rotherham, as much as I like Paul Warne, I just don't see the quality and I don't see where the goals are coming from for those guys. Hope you guys have a good season, and look forward to getting back to the Championship action this weekend. So all the best, guys, and you can follow us at From the Finney.
Oh. Hi, my name is Sam Taylor from Our Generation. I'm a QPR fan, and my predictions for the season, I reckon I'd be delighted if we finished anywhere near the top 10. We will probably be between 12th and 9th. I think those couple places, that seems quite appropriate for us, considering Eze's gone. It'll be a tough one, but I think we'll pull through. I think Watford will probably go up, as would Bournemouth. Brentford will obviously be up there as well, fighting. I don't know how they'll finish, but those 3 teams, I reckon, will probably make it up. And I would be very surprised if Luton did not go down the next year. Barnsley as well, and probably one of the 3 that came up. Rotherham, probably. They've not had the best of luck in recent years in the Championship.
Hi, I'm Simeon Pickup, editor of the Tyler Centre Reading podcast and website, and I have no idea how our season's going to go, to be quite honest with you, because this team has been in a lot of flux recently, a lot of self-imposed turmoil, essentially with Nigel Howe leaving as CEO, with Mark Bowen going as manager and being replaced by Veljko Paunovic, and it's really difficult to work out what kind of position we're in. Essentially, is this a team challenging for the top 6? Is it one that is so unstable that it's actually just going to be fighting to stay up? To be honest with you, I need another couple of weeks or another couple of months to work it out. But if we do click, there's every possibility of the top 6, but I am worried that we're essentially here last season, and that just turned out to be another frustrating campaign where no long-term progress was made. Otherwise, I think the top 6 are probably going to be Norwich, Watford, Millwall, Cardiff, Forest and Brentford. And of those teams, Norwich, Watford and Forest are probably my 3 teams to go up. And at the other end of the table, I think Luton, Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham are going to be the 3 teams to go down.
Okay, so it's Ben from Roving United podcast, giving his season's expectations for the Millers this season. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, it's looking good. I think it's the best team we've had in a while. Best team we've had in my lifetime. Obviously, I've not been around that long, but it's very promising. Probably the most promising season that I've been looking forward to in a long time.
Okay, so who do you think's going to finish in the top 6 then?
I think Bournemouth, Watford, Brentford, Norwich, Millwall and Forest.
Okay, Millwall. Hope not. And the top 3, who's going to go up? Who's going to end up going up?
I think Bournemouth and Watford will get automatic and Norwich through playoffs.
Right. And the big one, who's going to go down?
I think Wycombe, Wednesday and Barnsley.
Wednesday. Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan from the Wednesday Week podcast. My hopes and expectations for Wednesday this season, really to start off with, just make sure we stay up. Starting on minus 12, it could be a long old season for us, but I do think we've got enough to get ourselves out of it. anything other than that, if we can get mid-table, even push up further up the league, then even better. But to start off with, we've got to stay up. That has to be the priority, but I do think we've got enough to do that. Top 6, Watford right at the top for me with the quality that they brought in up front, closely followed by Norwich with the consistency that they're going to be keeping from the last 2 seasons with Daniel Farke and that sort of German legion that they've got that took them up to the Premier League. Didn't quite work out, of course, but they've kept consistency. Bristol City, I think, have had some real experience in Chris Martin and Chris Brunt, 2 players who I'd love to have seen at Wednesday. Brentford, I think, will be up there as well in the top 6, keeping this fairly. I know Ollie Watkins could be on his way to Aston Villa, but a lot of the side that they've kept that had them right up there last season, so they should still be up there. Forest, of course, just missed out last season. I think they'll be up there again. And Stoke, I think, might surprise a few. Michael O'Neill, really good manager, showed that with Northern Ireland. I think he'll show it with Stoke. Relegated sides for me, Wycombe, Rotherham and Barnsley. I also think Luton and Coventry are going to be down there, but it's not that good a championship this season for me. So Wednesday are going to be down there. Maybe Huddersfield as well if they lose Carlo Grant. So yeah, there's a lot to pick from that group, but Wycombe, Rotherham and Barnsley would probably be my 3.
Hey up guys, I'm Ben from the Wow Followers podcast and I'm a Stoke fan. How do I think Stoke will do this season? Well, I mean, last season wasn't what anybody predicted at all. I didn't expect us to be quite so low, but then we did better than last season, and that's all due to Michael O'Neill. Since he come in, and especially post-lockdown, Stoke have been a real force, beating some good teams all around the table actually, and I think we've got a real chance of pushing for promotion properly this season. I think we've got the players to do so as well. We had a fantastic squad with players like Sam Clucas, Joe Allen, people like that. Bennett come back, and then we've added to it Stephen Fletcher, John Owen McCall. Some really good players are coming in, and then we've got young players: Tyrese Campbell, Theo Verlinden, Harry Souter, Nathan Collins, Josh Tymon. Some really good players coming in there. Do I think we'll get promotion though? Well, I think that Watford and Brentford are going to go up automatically, and then I think it's going to be Swansea, Norwich, Bournemouth and Forest in the playoffs, probably with Swansea going up out of those 4 and then relegated. It's a tough call this year. There's some teams way down there that I'm going to say are really going to tear away from the rest of the league, but I'm going to go with Barnsley, Sheffield Wednesday with a massive hill to climb, and then Wycombe as well, unfortunately. But yeah, there's my predictions for Stoke and the rest of the league next season. Hope you have a good one yourselves.
Hi, I'm Steve Carroll from the Jackcast podcast, and I am a Swansea City fan. For my club this season, I think we're probably looking at mid-table. Obviously, we did well last year, managed to get ourselves into the playoff places, but we've lost a few players. I'm struggling to see where the goals are going to come from. So I don't think we're going to be repeating what happened last season. But obviously, until the transfer window shuts, you can never be entirely certain. But at this stage, we're looking at around mid-table, I think, for Swansea. So the top 6, I'm going to go with Watford and Norwich to go up automatically. They haven't really lost many players, and I just think that it's going to be a year where a lot of clubs are not spending a great deal of money. So the relegated team should have a significant advantage this time around. I also think Nottingham Forest will get into the playoffs, so will Brentford. Brentford will probably be the other team I'd be saying favourites to go up. Unfortunately, I can see Cardiff getting in the top 6, although I hope I'm wrong. And then we might see a surprise for the other one, but maybe Millwall. I think they could do all right under Gary Rowett. His sides are always tough to beat. In terms of relegation, Sheffield Wednesday must be the favourites because they've got a points deduction. Wycombe are bound to struggle. They've done exceptionally well to get up into this division. And I'll say Rotherham because they bounce between both divisions. So they're my relegated sides.
Hi there guys, this is Andy, the Watford fan and creator of the Hornet's Nest. Difficult to know what to expect from Watford this season really, having just been relegated from the Premier League. As Watford fans, we don't really know which players will be coming and going before the end of the transfer window in October. So it was a bit of a mishmash squad that faced Middlesbrough on the opening night last Friday, coming away with a fantastic 1-0 win, albeit not a pretty performance. But as Watford fans, we know what it takes to get out of this division, and sometimes you just have to win ugly. So it's going to be a period of transition for Watford before we can really settle down with our first 11 heading into the season. Obviously, Vladimir Ivic has come in after a fantastic record at Maccabi Tel Aviv. He's got a big job on his hands, changing this losing mentality into a winning one following a poor end to the season last time out for Watford. So I'm hopeful, because a lot of Watford's activity off the pitch still is of Premier League quality. You know, it's a Premier League setup. We've been there for 5 years. Some of the players that we've still got are Premier League quality. Whether we're able to hold on to a lot of them remains to be seen. The likes of Ismail Assar, Etienne Capoue, etc. Gerard Deulofeu, of course. So a very strange period, not really sure what the end result is going to be. I think if Watford are to bounce back to the Premier League, it has to be this season. I don't think we can afford to languish in the Championship for too long. So with that being said, I'm hoping Watford will be one of the top 2 automatic spots, and I think we'll be sharing that alongside Norwich City. Making up the playoffs in no particular order, I think will be Swansea City, Preston North End, Nottingham Forest and Bristol City, and we'll be saying goodbye to Wycombe Wanderers, Coventry City and of course Luton Town.
Hey guys, it's George here from The Wycombe Way. You can find the vast majority of my content on Twitter via @TheWycombe It's uncharted territory for the Wanderers this season. It's our first ever taste of football, one step below the top flight, and I for one am buzzing for it. It's been a summer full of research for myself, getting to know the players and teams in this division. I've got my predictions ready, although I'm still not 100% confident with them. There's no doubting it's going to be a 46-game long fight, a million miles off the fight we had last season in League One at the top of the pile. I know for sure we're going to be near the bottom, but I'm expecting more success on the pitch this season for Wanderers, tipping them for survival with a good few games to spare. As my top 6, I've predicted Brentford, Norwich, Cardiff, Watford, Swansea and Stoke to finish as the top 2 sides and the playoff sides. I've got Brentford to win the league, Cardiff to finish in second and Watford following them up via the playoffs at Wembley. It's almost impossible to predict the bottom 3 this year. I've seen experts on the EFL predicting all sorts of different sides, but for me personally, I feel that Rotherham, Huddersfield and Barnsley are all in for tough, long campaigns and may face a drop come the end of the season. With that being said, it should be a fantastic season, and I of course wish every club in the league all the best this year. Thanks very much.